Okay, so we did a presentation about what was talked about in the Committee on Women's Rights and Gender Equality, and we will be presenting a few slides. We will first talk about the refugees from Ukraine and some of the dangers there. A lot of African refugees from Ukraine have been denied shelter and entry in Poland, and a lot of other refugees face dangers of trafficking. And now we talk about the impact of COVID, the impact that it has had on women. First of all, it increased the increase of domestic violence because a lot of the population shifted to teleworking, so they spend more time at home. So cases of domestic violence rose by a third in some EU countries following lockdown. And difficulty in balancing paid and unpaid work due to teleworking. So 61.5% of mothers under report that they took on most of or all the additional unpaid care work, compared to just 22.4% of fathers reporting that they took on most or all of the additional unpaid care work. According to the Prime Minister of Iceland, the COVID-19 pandemic has impacted men and women differently, such as the closure of many workplaces and schools during COVID-19 lockdowns. At the start of the pandemic, a big share of the European population shifted to telework, so during lockdowns, mothers working from home had to deal with interruption by children more often than fathers, so they maybe were less productive. And the majority of caregivers at home and in the medical community are also women, so they are more exposed to infection and loss of livelihood. The Prime Minister also talks about the Red Stocking movement, which was a significant event that changed the way women were seen in the country and helped put Iceland at the forefront. So on October 24th, 1975, over 90% of Icelandic women refused to work, and the aim was to show how much society depended on women's labor, from farms, factories, and to the home. And the fact that she mentions the fact that the history of gender equality in Iceland is a story of revolution and is the result of many women's continuous efforts throughout the years. And a few of the many factors that cause gender inequality are job division, which refers to the belief that men are better equipped to handle certain jobs rather than women, most of which are the jobs that pay best, like lawyers, doctors, over their own bodies, or cannot choose when they become parents, and so they end up becoming financially dependent on another person or the state, and such they lose some of their freedom. And lack of political representation, and despite the fact that progress has been made in this area, women are still underrepresented in government and the political process, and this means that certain issues that female politicians bring up are often neglected.
The cost to society economically is estimated to be around $366 billion per year. From this percent, violence against women are 790% of this cost, around $289 billion. Intermediate partner violence makes up to 48% of this percentage, to about $174 billion, and intimate partner violence against women makes up to 87% of the previous percentage. Now, according to a survey, during COVID, women were worked around 36 hours of unpaid work weekly, which estimates about. So, okay, so the critical question remains: what can we do? Starting in home, we should give men the opportunity to care for both their kids and parents by providing them with parental leave, and of course, by dismissing the stereotypes of them as not suitable for caregivers. In addition, we need to create affordable care services, facilities for kids, elders, and do not forget people with disabilities. Also, care should stop being a career sacrifice. To achieve this, the working hours should be limited and financial support should be provided. Last but not least, we should manage correctly the future of teleworking. We should not let it be dominated by mothers who want to take care of their children and do housework chores while the fathers stay unbothered at their offices. Okay, thank you. Luckily, a new European strategy will be shortly introduced. It should lead to a better work life balance between paid and unpaid work and should improve working conditions for people with care responsibilities. The strategy focuses on better care services in order to maximize women's participation in the labor market. Lastly, it should encourage men involvement in care work in order to take a fair distribution to care and household responsibilities. In order to achieve this, 2 months of paid parental leave will be provided to both parents as well as a right to flexible working hours. This will strengthen fathers' involvement in paid care work. In addition, they will share the burden of household responsibilities. But in the end, it is essential to continue converting gender based stereotypes and changing mindsets. Only this is the way that the European Union will be equal and balanced. Closing, we would like to express our opinion about the committee, which left us rather disappointed. Most of the speakers kept going in circles about how great and important women are. Don't get me wrong, it is essential to understand women's value, but we expected something greater. Lastly, most speakers, when given the time to ask questions, talked shortly about their country's actions, and the questions that were asked were answered due to the limited time. In the future, we look forward to more fruitful debates about women's rights. Thank you.